What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for watching the video today. And today I just wanted to take the time and really just give my overall thoughts on what has been a really fun and enjoyable Green Bay Packers season thus far. Because as a Packers fan, it's been a roller coaster ride over the past year, just watching this team since that NFC Championship loss to Tampa Bay. And then we get to the offseason and we have all the chaos surrounding the Aaron Rodgers discontent with the front office, his not seeing eye to eye, the anticipated trade request, or the trade request, the anticipated trade that many expected would go. People were, is he going to go to the Niners? Is he going to go to the Broncos? Could he retire and try to force his way out? But ever since he returned in July, and he had that long press conference, kind of aired out the dirty laundry a little bit, and then affirmed that he's here for this season. He's all in on these guys for this season. This team it's just felt like a different energy than it's had over the past few years, and they've had a lot of success over the past few seasons, but this year just feels there's a different energy to the team. Obviously, it wasn't evident in week 1 after we got absolutely blown out, but since then, these 7 straight wins, we're now atop the NFC. We finally beat the Arizona Cardinals. We exercised those demons because they've been beating us. They've been beating us pretty much every game over the past decade or so, maybe even longer, because that Kurt Warner loss, the first big Cardinals loss we had during the Aaron Rodgers era, was back in 2009. So really over the past 12 years, really, there's been a lot of history with the Cardinals, and a lot of history with San Francisco as well, who we also beat this year. So just stuff like that, having the heart to beat the Niners, that comeback, have Mason Crosby shaking off a terrible game to still beat the Bengals in overtime, just the defense being able to make sure Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow couldn't totally scorch us, even though Jamar Chase had a really good game that game. The Bengals were not able to meet their normal offensive output. That was a really gutsy win for us. And then last night, I totally confess the Cardinals looked like they were about to possibly win the game, or at least send us to overtime. The memories of the Larry Fitzgerald overtime game were definitely coming back. I was like, we can't do overtime with the Cardinals again. Please, no. But Rasul Douglas, who we signed off from the Arizona practice squad just about 3 weeks ago, and of course, I mean, last week I was slandering him a little bit because he wasn't playing well. He hasn't played well for a vast majority of his career, really. He isn't a great coverage corner, but he came up with that interception when we needed it most, got us the win. We are now the number 1 seed in the NFC for now, and the way they've just been able to just keep fighting despite losing people every single week. We lose Robert Tonyan last night to an ACL tear, unfortunately, and he was fantastic last season. Still pretty solid this year, big part of the offense. We definitely would have needed him in the playoffs. That's going to be a tough void to fill. I'm interested to see if Brian Gutekunst addresses that in a trade before the deadline on Tuesday, or if he just is content to roll with Mercedes Lewis and Josiah DeGore at the position. But either way, losing him, and we're going to have to fight for that. We haven't had David Bakhtiari all season after he's still recovering from his ACL tear. Jair Alexander's been on IR for about the past month. We've only had our elite pass rushers, Darius Smith, for 1 game this season, really only a quarter or 2. He hasn't played yet, although hopefully he can come back late season. Preston Smith, Elgton Jenkins, Darnell Savage, Josh Myers missed last night. MVS has been on IR. We have had injuries all over the place. And then even last night, every receiver, Devontae Adams and Alan Lazard had COVID. They couldn't play. But Randall Cobb, he had to come up big. And after coming back to the Packers in the offseason, this is another big performance for him as a Packer. He's had many over the course of his career, and he was able to show up when he was needed most last night, 2 touchdowns. And the acquisition of Cobb is one of many that Brian Gutekunst has made over the past year that I've been really impressed with. And I think that Rodgers and Gutekunst, even though they might not like each other, I think they've really came to a understanding for this season. I think they both really done a great job of just embracing the pursuit of trying to get one more championship during the Rodgers era this season. Because, people say maybe Aaron kind of told Goot to go trade for Randall Cobb, and that may be so, because they are good friends, longtime teammates right there. But Brian Gutekunst has made plenty of other moves around the edges that I've been very impressed with, whether it's drafting Eric Stokes in the first round, and Eric Stokes looks like he could be a really good number 2 corner for the Green Bay Packers going forward. He's had to assume the number 1 role over the past month, and I think he's held his own about as much as you could hope for. Sure, guys like Jamar Chase have torched him, but overall, I think he's been really good. looking at Josh Myers and Royce Newman, the rookie linemen, they've had to slot in as starters and held their own at times throughout the season. And just signing different guys around the edges, picking up Devondre Campbell in the middle of June, he's had a really good career overall, and it was surprising to see him just sitting out there. It was a great move for Goot to go get him. He's probably our best inside linebacker we've had really over the past decade. Like the last guy that a lot of Packers fans have compared him to, the best inside linebacker we've had most recently is probably Desmond Bishop, and that was back on those 2010, 2011 teams. It's been a long time, and Devondre Campbell has really proven himself. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes his first career Pro Bowl this year. He's been really good. And other guys, picking up guys like Whitney Merciless to fill in for at the pass rush, picking up Douglas, who had the game-winning interception last night, Jalen Smith, who unfortunately was inactive last night, but that's great depth. A guy who's had a lot has had some success in his NFL career, just filling in around the edges, filling in the voids of this team. Picking up Corey Borquez, even the punter, coming up. I believe they acquired him from the Rams, a former Bill as well. He's been fantastic. He had an 80-yard punt the other week. He's been great. So just this team just has been able to fight and fight all year. They've been bringing in different guys every week. Even the receiver, Jawan Winfrey, who we signed off the practice squad. He's nothing special, I'm sure, but he had a few catches when he was needed most. He never had a catch before last night. He had 3 or 4, I believe. He came up strong when we needed him. There's just everybody is buying in. Everyone is doing their part. Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers, that connection has continued to blossom. A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones have been running all over people throughout the season. Even though Aaron Jones has been super dominant, he's been very efficient, very reliable after getting paid in the offseason. That's been good to see. And the defense just looks better. It just looks more consistent, which makes me think that once we get Jair and Za'Darius back, this defense might be able to finally get us to reach the Super Bowl once again. I don't want to jinx it because the NFC is deeper than ever this year. I could see the Rams, us, the Packers, the Rams, the Buccaneers, the Cards, Dallas. There's plenty of Super Bowl contenders in the NFC. There's no guarantee that Green Bay, even with all the resilient fighting they've been doing this year, is going to make the Super Bowl. But man, they've been fun to watch. They've given me a lot of hope. There's just something about this team that feels special, and I'm excited to see where the rest of the season takes us from here. 7-1, top of the NFC, and got the Chiefs this week. If we can beat Mahomes, I know the Chiefs have been bad lately, but that's still Patrick Mahomes. We got to beat him. If the defense is able to slow him down, get us another win, at that point, this season could be something special for Green Bay fans, and I'm really excited to see what happens. Thank y'all for watching, and go Pack, go!